Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Zulfikar welcoming you all to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. ECNEC approves 13 projects involving around 2,000 crore Taka. Government increases 15% house rent in 2 phases for teachers and employees of MPO-listed educational institutions. International Crimes Tribunal sets October 29 as next date for recording testimonies over 7 murders in July movement case. Coordinated cell to be formed to prevent misuse of artificial intelligence in next parliamentary election, says CEC. Navy and Fisheries Department conduct drive to protect Mother Hilsha in Bay of Bengal. Grand final round of BTV's popular talent hunt program Notun Kuri concludes. Israel continues airstrikes and shootings in Gaza, raising fears over future of ceasefire deal with Hamas. And Bangladesh facing West Indies in second ODI of 3-match series in Mirpur. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The meeting of the Executive Committee of the National Economic Council was held today at the NEC Conference Room in the capital. ECNEC Chairperson and Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus presided over the meeting. In the meeting, the ECNEC approved 13 projects worth 1,988 crore 9 lakh Taka. The 13 development projects, including Pro-Act Bangladesh Resilience, Strengthening Through Agri-Food Systems Transformation in Cox's Bazar, Sustainable Development of Rural Earthen Roads through Herringbone Bond Work Phase 2, Khulna Division Rural Infrastructure Development Project, renovation of urban architecture and development of cultural center in Jamalpur town, construction of internal roads, drains and footpaths in zones 1 to 5 of Ghazipur City Corporation, Uttara Lake Development, construction of Bangladesh Chancery Building in Australia's Canberra, upgradation of Kishorganj Binnoti Pakundia Mirzapur Tok District Highway to appropriate standard, expansion and modernization of BSTI's physical and chemical testing laboratories, Ghorashal Unit 3 repowering, transformation of Pabna Mental Hospital into an international standard mental health institute and hospital, rehabilitation and quality improvement of level crossing gates in the western zone of Bangladesh Railway, and rehabilitation and quality improvement of level crossing gates in the eastern zone of Bangladesh Railway. Of the approved projects, 3 are new, 7 are revised, and 3 involve only time extensions without additional costs. Members of the Advisory Council, members of the Planning Commission, and secretaries concerned attended the meeting. The government decided to increase the house rent allowance for teachers and employees of MPO-listed educational institutions by a total of 15% in two phases. In the first phase, the allowance will be raised by 7.5% and another 7.5% will be added in the next fiscal year. Education Advisor Professor Dr. C.R. Abrar Ahmed announced the decision during a briefing at the Secretariat today. He also stated that teachers will return to classrooms starting tomorrow. The International Crimes Tribunal set October 29 as the next date for recording testimonies in the July Movement case, which involves 7 murders, including the burning of 6 bodies in Ashulia of Savar. The 3-member judicial panel of Tribunal 2, headed by Justice Nozrul Islam Chaudhry, issued the order today after completing the 14th day of testimony. In today's session, the tribunal recorded the testimony of Sub-Inspector Abdul Barik. With this, the tribunal has so far completed the testimonies of 19 witnesses in the case. The Appellate Division's full bench adjourned the hearing until tomorrow on the appeal seeking the reinstatement of the caretaker government system. The hearing began before a 7-member full bench of the Appellate Division headed by Chief Justice Dr. Syed Rifat Ahmed today. Dr. Sharif Bhuiyan, counsel for the petitioners, presented arguments in favor of the appeal. On August 27, the court granted leave to appeal after completing the hearing on a petition seeking review of the verdict that had annulled the caretaker government system. In 1996, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was passed in Parliament, introducing the caretaker government system. In 1998, 3 lawyers, including Advocate M. Solimullah, filed a writ petition in the High Court challenging the legality of the amendment. On August 4, 2004, the High Court Division dismissed the writ and declared the caretaker system constitutional. The petitioners appealed in 2005. Later, on May 10, 2011, the full bench of the Appellate Division, by a majority opinion, declared the 13th Amendment unconstitutional. Following that verdict, the 15th Amendment, which abolished the caretaker government system and introduced several other changes, was passed in Parliament on June 30, 2011. After August 5, 8 individuals, including the BNP Secretary General, Jamaat-e Islami Secretary General, and Badiul Alam Mazumdar, filed review petitions against the verdict. Chief Election Commissioner CEC A.M.M. Nasiruddin announced that a coordinated cell will be formed to prevent the misuse of artificial intelligence (AI) in the upcoming 13th National Parliamentary election. At the same time, the Election Commission prepared strategies and taken all necessary measures to counter any form of misinformation or propaganda, even in the most remote areas of the country. He made these remarks while speaking as the chief guest at a workshop on preventing the misuse of AI held today at the Election Training Institute in Agargaon, Taka. The workshop was attended by officials involved in various electoral duties. The CEC said the Election Commission will not just need policy guidelines, it will require specific actionable recommendations. The seminar was presided over by EC Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed and attended by the 4 election commissioners, along with officials from the ECNTMCS, BTRC law enforcement agencies, UNDP university faculty members, and journalists. A total of 80 participants took part in the seminar. Civil Aviation Authority of Bangladesh CAB Chairman Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Mustafa Mahmood Siddiq today said appropriate action will be taken if any negligence is found in connection with the fire at the cargo village of Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport. Speaking at a press conference, the CAB chairman dismissed allegations that fire service vehicles were barred from entering the site, saying the delay occurred because goods were piled up on the runway near the cargo village. He said firefighters could not enter due to the stacked cargo and the responsibility lies with other agencies working in that area. All necessary measures were taken in line with the protocols of the International Civil Aviation Organization, he added. A massive 22-day conservation drive for Mother Hilsha aimed at protecting Mother Hilsha is currently underway. As part of this operation, the Bangladesh Navy and Department of Fisheries conducted a significant raid in the Bay of Bengal this morning. Two Bangladesh Navy ships, Shoykot and Shoibal, participated in the drive, which extended up to 40 nautical miles from Potenga's 15-number jetty in Chattogram. At that time, naval forces successfully intercepted and detained several fishing boats, seized a large quantity of illegal fishing nets, and apprehended multiple fishermen. The Navy officials reported since the operation began on October 4th, they have seized illegal fishing gear, including tong nets and over 100 behundi nets, with an estimated market value of approximately 9.5 crore Taka. To enforce the Hilsha Conservation Drive, a fleet of 17 ships and boats are regularly conducting special patrols across several key coastal and river areas, including Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Chandpur, Khulna, Bagerhat, Firozpur, Borgona, and Borishal. The Navy is also maintaining constant surveillance over the deep sea using frigates and advanced maritime patrol aircraft. The Department of Fisheries reports that the government remains vigilant in preventing the unauthorized entry of fishermen from neighboring countries into Bangladesh's maritime territory, securing the nation's waters for the successful breeding of Hilsha. The final selection round of Bangladesh Television's iconic talent hunt program Notun Kuri, the bearer of BTV's Golden Legacy, concluded today. The BTV premises were filled with a festive atmosphere as the young dreamers light up the day with their smiles, songs, dances, and recitations. From this final selection phase, 10 participants from each category have been chosen as the best young artists of the future, whose talents will reflect the colorful dreams of Bangladesh's next generation. On the last day of the final round, 125 participants from Group B took part. The day featured competitions in Robindra Songit, patriotic songs, Hamdanath, recitation, and classical dance. Launched in 1976, Notun Kuri was the first reality-style talent hunt program in the subcontinent on Bangladesh television. Many renowned artists began their journey through this program after a long hiatus. Notun Kuri has returned with its original name and theme song, reviving its glorious tradition. Now, international news. Israel has continued its airstrikes and shootings in Gaza, raising fears over the future of its fragile ceasefire deal with Hamas. United States envoys ramped up diplomacy to get the deal back on track. The Palestinian Civil Defense Agency said 4 people were killed in 2 separate attacks, both times by Israeli gunfire, as they were returning to check on their homes. Israel's military claimed it had fired at militants who crossed the so-called yellow line of demarcation and had approached troops in the Shujaya neighborhood, which is adjacent to Tufa. UN aid chief said Gaza City is now a wasteland after relentless Israeli bombardment. Several outbreaks of violence have taken place since a fragile US-brokered ceasefire began on October 10, with at least 97 Palestinians killed in total, according to Gaza officials. Japan's parliament has elected ultra-conservative Shanai Takaichi as the nation's first female prime minister. A protege of assassinated former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Takaichi received 237 votes in the 465-seat lower house of parliament on Tuesday to confirm her in the role. The victory followed a last-minute coalition deal by her Liberal Democratic Party (LDP) with the right-wing Japan Innovation Party (JIP), also known as Ishin, on Monday. However, her government is still 2 seats short of a majority, suggesting a risk of instability. Takaichi replaced Shigeru Ishiba, ending a 3-month political vacuum and wrangling since the LDP, which has governed Japan for most of its post-war history, suffered a disastrous election loss in July. Her victory marked a pivotal moment for a country where men still hold overwhelming sway, but it is also likely to usher in a sharper move to the right on immigration and social issues, with little expectation that it will help to promote gender equality or diversity. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said he would be ready to join Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin at a proposed summit in Hungary if he were invited. The US and Russian presidents announced that they plan to hold talks